Hello, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another year of the Mania 4Key World Cup 2024. We're here with the very first match of the entire tournament. We're a little bit early on the weekend, having a bit of a Friday match to kick things off here between two of our teams in the top 32 of qualifiers. I'm Potassium F, casting alongside Mashed Potato today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm also very excited as well. Following the map push showcase, there's so many good songs in the map board. I can't wait for this team to pick any of these songs because I just like to listen to these songs. So yeah, and we can see on the screen right here, it's the matchup between Philippines and Czechia. Sure, the seeding discrepancy is quite high, seed 4 against seed 29, but you look at the Czechia team, you see Grill Roasted and Decoy.
Yeah.
We're like, so it's like seed 29, but are you sure that they're actually seed 29? When these two players can just shout 990k.
Yeah, in particular, Grill Roasted is a terrifying team. I just want to also have a side note. These two flags do look very similar to each other. I didn't really notice that until now.
They are. I think they just like switched the colors around actually.
Yeah, just switching the colors around. Philippines has the little sun on it as well, but definitely this year though, I'm looking at the Philippines roster as well, and they have an absolutely terrifying roster just in general. Right, we're looking at some returning players. We've got Els and Forcan who have been here, and Cub as well, who was here last year, who's now called Silicosis too. But some of the new players that they've gotten in have really looked like they've elevated the Philippines' late game potential, especially. That said, this is still round of 32, so accuracy consistency is going to be the name of the game with some of these maps in particular, and it'll just be interesting to see who comes out on top in that regard.
That is for sure. I think what makes a huge difference between Philippines and Czechia is that Philippines definitely have a very strong lineup. They can have like any strong free player roster on any maps. While Czechia, they do have Decoy and Grill Roasted, but they do lack a bit in the third player. So that's going to be one of the bigger issues within the Czechia team. But I can see them definitely getting a point or two if Philippines does drop a couple of misses, maybe due to carelessness potentially.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a kind of depth of roster difference between the two teams. Like, as you said, Czechia is really relying on Grill Roasted in particular. Like, Grill Roasted and Decoy, those two players, they kind of have to pop off, right? But on the Philippines side, in the qualifiers, we even saw, like, Siluesca Els switching out for one of the LM picks. And whenever you see something like that, you're like, oh, okay, this team is kind of stacked.
This team, I'm so looking forward for this team as well. Compared to the last couple of years, where we've been praising Philippines for potentially like a top 3 podium. They do have a bit of a late game issues compared to the top teams, but now I think the issues definitely being covered with new blood within the Philippines team, such as, if I remember correctly, Livet, Hana, and Vadria. I think that's what it's called.
Those three are looking so strong in the physicality department, especially, and they've got good ac as well. It's not just that they're just physical only players. They have some extraordinarily strong ac despite not having as much tournament experience as the others. But we always say Philippines can have the opportunity to be top 3. They've missed out a couple of times in the past couple of years with some unfortunate results. This year, they're also looking even stronger than before, but I think the competition for top 3 is even stronger than before at the same time. So it's going to be rough.
Yeah, this is what you expect from MWC. Every year we say this is the most stacked tournament we have ever seen, and the next year we come back and we just see a more stacked lineup. It's just always delivering whenever we're back for another iteration of MWC. And actually, let's move on to the picks and bans. If I remember correctly, Czechia decided to protect Rice 2 while Philippines is protecting LN Free, which is, I am so excited. This is like, I love all of the maps in here, but LN Free is my personal favorite map and song of this
the Osu original. Oh wait, this is an interesting ban situation, and both teams interested in the SV.
No!
That kind of makes sense. Like, Philippines banning SV2 Outer Mongolia, that is a map that is effectively, the hard part of that map is extremely short and ridiculously easy to choke. So even though, Philippines is much higher seeded in terms of the SV as well, they should be the stronger SV team. It's just not something that you would be super comfortable playing just in general. And Czechia, probably not feeling the SV on this team compared to the Philippines. Philippines do have a strong SV lineup, so I think Czechia probably going to be looking towards, given their protect, they're probably going to be looking towards the more consistent Rice picks if they want to be scoring some points here.
Yeah, probably something along the line of Rice 1, Rice 2 is probably their line of attack. Philippines probably just sticking to their LNs. It makes sense. Their LN roster is extremely strong. I think apart from Aaron James or the Varia player, the rest of the 5 players can definitely just get extremely good accuracy on LNs. They can just pick any of those 3 players and they can get like 996k average or something.
Yeah, I would definitely view Philippines as a very strong like LN hybrid kind of team. And yeah, I would assume from that Czechia would be looking towards the Rice as well, given, like you said earlier, the Czechia does have a little bit of a third player issue for some of these maps, so they might try to look for some of the more straightforward picks, like the more quote-unquote easier picks, where maybe their third player is a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, but you know, we from last year we have seen like this map was actually I've seen quite a difficulty increase compared to last year. Like some of these picks are actually like just a huge step up from the round of 32 from last year. So it may be easier, but also it's just harder in general.
Yeah, I mean, I say easier, kind of like relatively. Like I can't play these maps, so they're not easy maps.
I mean, that's why we're in the commentator booth, aren't we?
Yeah, that's why we're here and not there.
Yeah.
But like even like Rice 2, which I would say is probably the most straightforward pick in the pool, right? It's just 1/4. It's the one that you would expect most teams to just be really comfortable with. It is 226 BPM now in round of 32, which is a crazy high BPM to be starting off with.
It is a 10 BPM increase from last year, and actually they're going to pick the Rice 3. I think this is pretty, it's a pretty good pick. This is quite Jack orientated, and it has a lot of miss potential, so maybe they're focusing on Philippines' potential to miss, like, you know, it's one of those things where you're trying to get really high accuracy, and you can get quite careless with a bunch of patternings in here, where it gets quite bursty within these jacks. It's not just jack, there's a lot of burst.
It's like what I always like to think of is if you are the lower seed, one of the best strategies you can kind of have sometimes is just to pick the short, choke-heavy picks and just hope that you have more combo consistency. And we'll see how it goes because we've got all 6 players starting in. This is Czechia's first pick. And right out the gate here, Decoy actually struggling in the accuracy a little bit, down to 99.4. That's giving a small lead to the Philippines.
Which is a bit of a small lead, but again, this is a very short map, so actually a miss can be extremely punishing for any of these teams.
Oh yeah, a miss would definitely be enough to swing this lead over. But actually, Kopi now finding quite a few 200s there, down to 99.4 themselves. All 3 players on Philippines right now is 99.9, but Grill Roasted is keeping Czechia in this with some kind of ridiculous accuracy themselves.
Definitely showing up why they're like one of the best European player, and a miss from Decoy right there, and now the score lead is now ballooning up to nearly 20,000 points.
That's a rough miss. They need Philippines to miss at least twice, like minimum twice, and it has to be fairly soon because we're already in kind of like the last third of the map, and these 3 players for the Philippines are so consistent. It looks like
their accuracy hasn't even dropped since the beginning of the map, and Kopi right there dropping a couple of misses. I think that basically seals the deal, unless there's any disconnection, which I hope there won't be. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that was a client miss for 4Ken.
I think it's a client miss as well, yeah.
We'll see, but either way, it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, it was. Still the 3 full combos for Philippines. Only the 1 full combo on Grill Roasted for Czechia. But it looks like it's just a little bit too late now. We will be seeing a very early break point into this match with a this is a stupid team score from Philippines. This is
what
is this?
What? Yo, what?
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
Sure, nearly 2.99 million team score from the Philippines. Girl Roasted did get the MVP with a very nice 300 count right there. So I think this shows like the matchup between Philippines and Czechia is a team performance against a single player of Girl Roasted.
Yeah, Grill Roasted is absolutely putting on a insane performance, but it's just the Philippines as a whole. Even if you have individual strong players, trying to beat this team score is a bit too much to overcome, I feel like. And now Philippines, after a performance like that, it feels like they can really go through anything they want. Of course, you know, I imagine they were planning on picking some of the LN picks, but, you know, Rice is definitely not looking like a bad idea.
No, I don't think so. They can even pick for like Rice 5, which is like the most difficult Rice pick out of these 5 songs. It's a whole level above the other 4 Rice pick. But they're going to go with LN2, with the Density LN pick.
So they are sticking with their own strategy that they had before. They're going to stick with the LNs. This is the LN Density pick. So a bit less wacky, a little bit less technical maybe than the other LN picks that are out there. But still not exactly straightforward. It's still fairly tricky to get good accuracy on this one.
Yeah, I think that's for LN Density picks for especially is that in the early game it's more similar to Coordination LN because of the low BPM. So actually this is more of like an extension of LN1, but just more density based pattern and I guess more straightforward patterning as well. So this is more like sharpshooting accuracy on LNs. And with the current meta nowadays, lots of people can get really good release on LN, so I can see a potential of a not a stupid team score from Philippines.
Also, just a note here, I mentioned depth of roster earlier. We have just seen 3 players swap out for Philippines. They have switched their entire roster for this pick.
Yeah, I mean, within the qualifiers as well, there is no single player who ended up playing all of the maps. Everyone played a part within the qualifiers, and they got number 4. So this team has an extremely high level of cohesion, where they can pick, where for any pick they have 3 players who can come in and dish out an extremely strong team score. And we just saw that from the Rice 3 pick. And now we might be seeing an exact same script for this. We might be seeing some unextremely crazy team score.
Yeah, we are getting Kofi switching out as well for Aiko on Czechia. So that's 4 switches after the first map. Not very common that you see that in a match. That just goes to show, and I mean, if you were to ask me as well, I would also think that these are 3 of the strongest players for Philippines for the LNs as well. So it's not just random switches either. They make a lot of sense.
Yeah. But for Czechia, as you said before, Ayako's actually going to sub in for, if I remember correctly, I actually don't remember who was. Okay, who? But in the qualifiers, it was Ayako who played mainly the LNs and the hybrids. Oh, it was Kopi. Okay, there we go. It was Kopi who was playing on the Rice, and it's kind of similar in qualifiers as well. It was Kopi playing on Rice, Ayako on LNs and hybrids, and the 5th player for Czechia is playing on the SV. And here we go, the second map of this match. Brain Widget Girl, the density pick.
Yeah, and once again, I think this is going to come down to the 2nd and 3rd players for Czechia, whether or not they can keep up. But it's so hard to be able to do something like that on this level of map pool.
Yeah, I think we're just seeing a repeat of the whole script again. Grill Roasted being the accuracy leader of this lobby, but on the other hand, you can see an extremely concentrated accuracy for all 3 players. Els, funnily enough, has the lowest accuracy in the Philippines team. That is a phrase that I would never get to say in an LN pick.
Yeah, Els in my head is still just an extraordinary LN specialist. So it's a crazy thing to think. Els does actually drop her accuracy quite a bit down to 99.7. I think a couple 200s happened there, but still it's a 20,000 point lead over to the Philippines due to the accuracy on the side of Decoy and Aiko, both hovering down the low 99% range. So still holding the 99%, still holding the FC for both of them. Nobody missing quite yet, but just off of accuracy, it's looking like it's enough to build up this large lead.
Yeah,
and
that miss
that's the
on
first
Ayako.
miss. Yeah.
But that was the second one. Aiko did miss earlier on as well. Oh, actually traded by Silicosis too.
Okay, so traded miss ends up being kind of neutral. Still 30,000 points in the lead though, because the accuracy doesn't really change for either of those two players.
Yeah, I think it's quite hard to get a lot of column lock within beast patterning as well. With the new Ellen releases system, it's much harder to get a column lock.
Yeah, and that is definitely going to help out most people as well, because column locks on this type of map does just destroy your score.
Yeah. And we're actually going to keep seeing Guru Roasted running away with the MVP once again. So something to be feared of if you're facing Czechia.
Yeah, another Scorvy1 double S. Scorvy1 double S as well for Plana, and almost for Silicosis too. Just with that unfortunate slider break that happened. But again, like these team scores right now coming out of the Philippines are just unstoppable as a unit here. Decoy as well getting the FC on that one, but just a little bit behind in terms of the accuracy.
Yeah, I go with a miss and a couple of 50s there, but I think if Aiko did get an FC, it would be a very strong team score with around 970k on this as well, 965k. So it would average out to around 980k average, which is a very decent team score on this map, especially.
Yeah, if only they weren't versing Philippines, basically. I think a lot of the teams that are kind of like in the middle towards like the end of the seedings, right? I think Czechia would have had a very strong shot at in a map like that, but it's just unfortunate. This is the way things go in round of 32. Sometimes you do get matched up. Someone has to get matched up, the Philippines, and some of these top seeds.
Yeah, it is a bit unfortunate that this is kind of how it is within the round of 32 or just early games where you might be seeing more lopsided matchups, such as this one and potentially other matches as well within the round 32. But we still get to see some really good scores from Czechia, as we saw before in LN2. So they could be sending a message to other teams that could potentially face Czechia.
Yeah, for sure. But for now, we're going to be getting into another pick from Czechia. They're going to go with Rise 5. As you said before, this one being one of the hardest maps, at least in terms of the Rise here. This one is very uncomfortable to really hold any score. And there's a few points in particular on this map that I remember being very high choke potential.
Yeah. I think OI's gonna be focusing on the 1000 combo mark. That's when like the stream pattern begins, where it was just uninterrupted streams for around 400 combos straight, with different snappings in between as well. So that's where you can get a lot of miss. And since it's a stream pattern, you can get a combo rush, and that could just tank your accuracy by around 1% even if you're not careful.
Yeah, but the question really goes is that will the Philippines find that drop? Because they did not look fully human in that first Rice map, and they've got their full Rice team subbing back in here with Forken, Levet, and Valeria.
Yeah.
Kopi coming back in for Czechia as well.
Yeah, that is a $1 million question right there. And we just have to find out with the third pick of the map. Hopefully we'll be seeing Kopi picking up and Decoy picking up a bit of the pace. Rice 3 was a bit of a lopsided pick because with the miss and the accuracy dropped. Kopi actually starting out with pretty good accuracy, nearly 99.9. It is just the intro, but this could be good signs for the Czechia team.
Yeah, for sure. I think combo definitely going to be a big part of this as well. If Czechia want to take the point at all, they need to make sure they're not finding any of these misses. But actually very close, off to a really close start between these two teams. Valeria off to a little bit of a worse start than before on the other Rice pick.
Gurosa is just locked in right now. We can just see Gurosa is on a 999k pace right now on this map.
Yeah, we'll see if that holds.
We'll see if that holds, but speaking of holding, both Decoy and Kopi is actually holding really well right now. They are holding good accuracy. They're fighting against they're putting up a really good fight against the Philippines, so they're keeping it within a 1 miss reach right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Both 99.7 average for those two players on Czechia. Grill Roasted still crushing all of these charts so far. And as you said, yeah, 4,000 points is not a lot at all. One miss, more than enough to determine it. And here's the streams coming in.
Okay, here we go. This is the part that could determine everything. This part is extremely easy to get accuracy drops. A bit of accuracy drop in Kopi, down to 99.63 now. The snapping changes didn't get anyone off guard. We're still seeing a 6-way FC right now. This is absolutely mental. And everyone FC'd the stream part. And without a lot of accuracy drop.
Oh, but not the roll! No, it was that roll after. I knew someone was going to miss on something like that, but Kopi does find a miss. That was a huge accuracy drop as well from Kopi, down to 99.3. Unfortunate at that point as well. Now it's going to be 23,000 points in the lead of Philippines, as none of the Philippines players even dropped any accuracy on that section.
Going also hold really well as well. Holding the accuracy before the stream section, and Gurus that misses. And I think that seals the deal there for the Philippines team to take their 3rd point of this match. We can potentially see another freeway FC. We talked about Philippines' strength on LN quite a bit and hybrid with some of the players in this team, but their rise have just seen an absolute improvement. 4K. No,
not again. Not again.
No. I'm leaving. What? We spent like a whole minute talking about how good, how hard this map can be, and they just, you know what? I'm just gonna get a freeway V1SS with the lowest score being 995k. I mean, they're just making us look like we don't know what we're saying.
Maybe Philippines is a rice team this year.
Perhaps. Maybe Philippines is just an all-rounded team. I don't. What can you do against this?
Yeah, there's not really much you can do for Czechia at that point. Shout out to Decoy though for that map. That getting a 985k with an FC was a really strong performance there. Definitely one. As we said, some of these scores from Czechia, if it wasn't for that unfortunate miss in the midsection there, that team score from Czechia could have definitely beaten a lot of other teams.
Yeah, I mean, Good Roasted could have got around a 997, and Kopi could have got around 980k as well. So this could have potentially been a very strong team score, but even without the misses, they would still have lost. And they're going to pick the also original song.
We're going to get Hebe.
Hebe. I think that's how you say it, yeah.
It is, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we're going to be seeing another freeway swap for the Philippines team.
Or will we? Leave It is staying in, perhaps. Ooh. So we might be seeing only 2 players. Makes a little bit of sense because this is a hybrid pick, and Leave It is very strong at LN as well. So we'll see what the teams end up being.
Yeah, this team, I think one very important thing about this team is that this team, quite a lot of players in this team are very strong on hybrid. So I think one of the biggest weakness within the Philippines in the late rounds is that they are very strong on either just Rise on some iterations or just LNs on some iterations, but not really both, and hybrid included. But now with some of the players like Plana and Leave It and Els, we can see their hybrid game just seeing a huge step up this year. And yeah, we're going to be seeing Plana coming in.
Yeah, of course, this one also being one of the Osu originals. So shout out to the Philippines for picking this one. Good that we're actually seeing it in a match.
That is for sure. Yeah, an Osu original made by Silas, otherwise known as Raveo. I think I just have to say that anytime it's a Silas song, because I think lots of people, lots of people just don't have a connection between Silas and Raveo.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some people live react to finding out that at some point.
Yeah, it took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure out that Silas is actually Raveo.
Who also does have one of their own maps in the pool as well.
Yeah, so, just to throw a wrench within the whole spam deck.
we'll see if we're going to see that one later in this match. But for now, this is going to be Philippines' pick. They are looking super strong. So we'll see how confident they are with this one. This one's a really hard hybrid, actually.
Yeah, this is a much more trickier hybrid compared to hybrid 1.
And speaking of hybrids as well, and speaking of Philippines and hybrids, they were seed number 2 when it came to the harder hybrid pick of stage 6.
Yeah, so definitely understandable why they ended up picking this. Yeah, you can see a bit of a accuracy drop from Decoy, maybe not too comfortable with the LN releases. The intro is very LN coordinated heavy.
Something that takes a lot of time to really get used to for a lot of these players that haven't had as much exposure to LN patterns before. But yeah, that is going to be a little bit below 99% for Decoy. Aiko also dropping down below 99% as well, but still holding the full combos. So 10,000 early lead here.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for Czechia right now is to hold the combo, but a bit of a combo drop from Aiko at the 700 combo mark right there. Once again, we do see Grill Roasted leading the accuracy. This has been kind of the whole script of the match so far is Grill Roasted on a one-man showing, beating out every other player within the Philippine team.
Yeah, what is a Grill Roaster doing? What 99.95 is not really. I wouldn't think that was possible on this map. But here we go.
I don't even think that was possible. The LN patterning is quite disgusting as well, with the many snapping changes.
This is like a 1:30 ratio SS. That's crazy.
I think so as well. A bit of an accuracy drop. Wow, from 99.95 to 9394.
Oh wow, Grill Roasted got some 300s, guys.
Oh no, he's not doing well anymore.
But this is now.
Oh wait, the troll's coming.
Oh no!
Oh no!
That was a miss for Grill Roasted, and now Czechia in much bigger trouble. 55,000 points the lead now, missing on their strongest player. Aiko finds another miss there, and still 3 full combos for Philippines.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the whole point of Philippines team is they're just sending a message on how consistent they are. Decoy picking up a miss, and that is it for Czechia. No more FCs on the board. And on the other hand, just absolute sheer perfection from Philippines. All players above 99.8. Despite a miss from Grill Roasted though, he still holds the highest accuracy in the lobby. Won't be the highest score, but that is still extremely commendable. 99.88 despite a miss.
The Philippines just get 3994Ks.
Yeah, yes, they just did.
Oh my god.
Let's see the accuracy. 1 and 2 200. That is it.
3 200s on the entire team. Grill Roasted halving the 300 counts of all the Philippines players, but the unfortunate miss in that one little section cost them quite a lot there. But that is going to be another really comfortable point for the Philippines. They're looking so consistent.
Yeah, Aiko and Decoy getting 99% on this. Nothing to scoff at. This map is, well, the harder hybrid of the two. So it's understandable why they get these sorts of accuracy. This is extremely abrasive LN patterning and everything. So, now with that, what will Czechia do? I say Rise 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, they still have their Protect, which they protected Rise 2. You would expect that to come out at some point during the match. Although that said, Philippines also didn't pick their Protect, and they may not be able to if they end up winning this last pick.
I'm actually so sad.
At the very least, we did see one of the OS originals coming out. We might see the other one before. We'll see if Czechia can force another point out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hope Czechia gets a point to potentially see all of the OSU original being played.
Yeah, but it is just like adding to like a point before. It is so hard to emphasize how hard some of these maps, how tricky some of these ones are, because Hybrid 2 was not easy. That was so hard to be able to act, but it feels silly to say that when I'm looking at 3994Ks on my screen.
And a 997 choke, by the way. from
actually,
Girls earlier.
looking
Oh,
like both of the teams might be avoiding their own protects in this situation, because we're going to be seeing Rice 1, the speed pick coming out instead, and Forken actually the secret weapon for Czechia coming in.
the double agent of Forken right here. And 144p actually betraying their own country, moving over to the Philippines. Actually, this song is... I'm so surprised seeing like the BPM of this reaching 300. I think this is 148.5 on, and the patterning is 1.8 snapping, so 300 BPM stream for round of 32. We have come a long way.
We've come so... I still remember, the time back in 2018 when I could still play the maps in MWC. Now it's like round of 32, it's already too hard. Get me out of here.
Yeah, no, I remember 2021 as well. The map was like relatively easy up to like round of 16, where you have like Joe maps at around like 280 BPM, 290. And now round of 32, 2024 is matching that BPM, or even make it even harder at nearly 300 BPM. And actually, we're not going to be seeing Decoy in this roster. We're going to be seeing two substitution with Koki and 144p. 144p making the first appearance.
Maybe going to be the player that Czechia needs to try and stay competitive here against the Philippines. Obviously, not going to be able to happen unless Philippines make some sort of mistake, because they have not been making any mistakes so far in this match.
In Rice especially, they haven't made... If you count a mistake as a 200, they haven't dropped a single 200 in all of their Rice picks. Let that sink in.
Crazy to think about. 144p actually finds an early miss. It's before the 400 combo mark, so it's not going to impact the score massively, but the accuracy drop does matter a bit more, down to 99% flat there. It's going to give the advantage over the Philippines, and there's a second miss. That one's going to hurt a lot more.
And Kopi picked up another miss. Actually, no, breaking the full combo, so this is already looking pretty good for the Philippines side.
Finding another miss there, this lead is growing really quickly. It's only a 2-minute long map as well, so it doesn't last too long, but it is very consistent in terms of the difficulty.
The lead is now ballooning to nearly 50k, so they really need to have someone in the Philippines team to constantly miss and miss and miss.
But they haven't even gotten a 200 yet.
And that's what I'm about to say, like, asking them to miss is just impossible. They haven't got a single 200 yet, let alone asking them to miss. That's like asking me to walk on water or something. Actually, I won't be able to walk on water before, like, Philippines get a 200 on this map. Actually, Girl Roasted, accuracy actually being matched by Valeria. So this is like, so actually, this is kind of like the first time we get to see some sort of competitiveness for the MVP position of the lobby. Before, we have just been seeing Girl Roasted running away with the accuracy lead compared to the rest of the lobby. But I think
Girl Roasted still has it.
Yeah, Girl Roasted has it. Still has it, but this is
okay. Let's see it.
Matchup. Let's
see it. Is this another one?
No,
oh, no way! No, not again.
Way. Not again. No, this is.
Oh my god!
Someone called the police. We're just seeing illegal activities in here.
This was a crazy match for a different way than what I was expecting here. 5-0, Philippines managing to make the sweep here. Czechia, of course, still in the competition. They are going to be sent to the losers bracket now, where they're going to have another chance to face someone a little bit less threatening than the Philippines here. But Philippines, they are looking really hot in this tournament, and they're looking like they can maybe make a bit of a run off of this first performance.
Yeah, that is for sure. I can't wait to see what Philippines can do. And as you can see, all 6 players played a major part in this match already. We can see all 6 making insane scores throughout this whole match. So I'm so excited for what Philippines can do. But of course, commiserations to Czechia, but they do have a second chance. So, and with seeing how Go Roasted perform in this match so far, I think that the Czechia team does have a shot to get their win within the losers bracket matchups.
Yeah, for sure. Depending on who they end up versing there, they are going to be looking like a fairly threatening team, especially for the seed that they are. Maybe looking a little bit underseeded given Grill Roasted performances in particular. But definitely Philippines missing only once. Actually, that was a slider break. 0 misses.
Yeah. Yeah.
0 misses
Okay.
technically.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. No, I remember that was like in the second pick where Silicosis 2 got a 50. Not even a miss, I think. That was just a 50.
Yeah, bit of a statement match coming out here. So that is going to be our first match over and done with. There are not going to be any more matches today. Of course, this being a Friday, this was an early reschedule for this match in particular. And I believe the next matches are going to be happening from tomorrow onwards. So the next 2 days, make sure you're staying around because we've got a lot of matches coming up. Another 15, in fact.
First match is going to be at 10 UTC on Saturday, so be sure to book that on calendars. It's going to be Vietnam versus Ukraine.
Yeah, make sure you stick around for that one. That's going to be in about 21 hours, I believe. You said 10 UTC, so
yeah,
going to be a fair bit later. But make sure you stay tuned again tomorrow for that one.
Yeah, and with that, I think, do you have anything else to add on before we close?
I believe banners are up already, are they?
Oh yes, yeah, banners are up. Yes, indeed. You can go onto the Osu store page to buy the banner of any of the countries within the top 32 teams. And if your team managed to win in this year, you get to keep the banner for a bit more. But the nice thing is that you can buy as many banners as you want. There was a player that bought at least 10 Romanian banners on their profile, and I think their in-game name is Romania. So you can go crazy with it. Make your profile stand out as much as you want. Buy 20 banners. Buy all 32 country banners if you want to go insane as well.
Make sure you go check out that few shenanigans possible there. But in the meantime, we're going to be having a bit of a break. But make sure you come back tomorrow. So we'll see you next time.